Hi, fellow travelers. This is Chris from Better Together Travel Stories and the Unpacked podcast. 2 weeks ago, Delta Airlines announced a series of changes to their SkyMiles frequent flyer rewards program. These changes were expected, but in a word, they are horrible. So bad that earlier this week, they made a public statement admitting that they may have gone too far. That gets my vote for the understatement of the year, at least when it comes to travel. In this video, I'll walk you through the most significant changes, the impact on travelers in general, and travel hackers in particular. I'll also share what me and Stephanie plan to do. While I hope that Delta rethinks their position, I'm not holding my breath. And here's why. A couple of years ago, American Airlines, which is our domestic airline of choice, made changes to their AA Vantage program. They had more of a focus on revenue-generating activities by their customers. We weren't happy about those, but they've been, for the most part, tolerable. They continue to have the highest valuation and the best award flight availability, but it will be challenging to keep our platinum status in 2024, so we'll have to see. Delta looked at what American Airlines did and said, hold my warm nuts, and they made similar changes, but only much, much, much worse. So to give you some background, you should know that the major U.S. airlines make a ton of money from selling miles to banks and to retail companies, more than they do make by flying their airplanes. For example, did you know that Delta made $7 billion last year solely from their partnership with American Express? Or that their leadership has suggested that approximately 1% of the U.S. gross domestic product is charged on Delta's co-branded American Express cards. This model is similar to McDonald's, which makes more money from their real estate holdings than they do from flipping burgers. But there is no doubt that these changes are a money grab by Delta, and they will, I believe, eventually be scaled back as consumer sentiment and revenue are negatively impacted. First, let's start with the Delta Sky Club. Arguably, they are the best looking and provide the best experience in airline lounges. The Sky Club in Chicago's O'Hare, we were privileged to visit that on their first day when they opened last year. It's a beautiful space, spacious, great selection of food and beverages. That said, the incredible increase in eligible travelers both during and post-pandemic had made it pretty much impossible for most travelers to spend time in these lounges. There are stories of hours-long waits just to get in. Starting in 2025, we most likely won't be able to use it anyways, but it's something that you have to consider in terms of how these airline companies are trying to rectify the situation. So starting February 1st of 2025, your American Express Platinum card will only get you 6 visits per year, and your Delta Reserve card will only get you 10 visits per year. If you have both, you can stack the visits, or you can spend $75,000 a year on the Delta Reserve Platinum American Express card for unlimited stays for this year and the next year. This is a huge step back, effectively duplicating the requirements for bringing a guest to the Centurion Lounge unless they are an authorized user. Also, there will be no access as of January 2024 for any passenger who's purchased a basic economy ticket. And lastly, there's no access for Delta Platinum card holders starting January 1st, which in the past was possible for a $50 fee. When it comes to earning award miles, Delta will no longer be looking at the miles flown. They'll no longer be looking at the number of segments flown. They're only looking at the dollars that have been spent, how much you are spending flying on Delta, and how much you are charging to Delta branded cards. And they are increasing the number of dollars you have to spend, called MQDs, necessary for status. You'll get 1 MQD for every dollar spent on Delta travel, whether it be on their airline or through their partner hub for hotels, car rentals, things like that. But you'll need to spend $20 to get 1 qualifying dollar when you use your Delta Platinum card, or $10 will have to be spent to get $1 if you use your Delta Reserve card. So what does all this mean? No matter how many miles you fly, no matter how many segments you fly, if you don't spend at least $6,000 on Delta travel, you will have no status in 2025. And if you want to attain or keep that diamond status, you will have to spend $35,000 on Delta travel or, hold on to your basic economy seats, spend $350,000 on a Delta Reserve card. Now, to contrast this with American Airlines, you get the same one loyalty point, which is their vernacular, towards your status attainment for every $1 spent on American Airlines travel. You'll get at least one loyalty point for every $1 spent using American Airlines branded card, and you'll get at least one loyalty point for every mile flown. So let's answer the question. Is it practical to spend as a business or as a consumer on Delta cards? The answer is no. In both cases, there are better cards for achieving status and a higher points or miles valuation than you can get with Delta Airlines, either as a flying passenger or as a user of their branded cards. I've shared my disdain in the past for Delta SkyMiles because mile for mile, both American Airlines and United provided higher valuation and flight availability for awards than Delta. So apart from sign-up bonuses and work travel obligations that put me on Delta's hard product, it really hasn't been an airline for me in the past, and it'll be even less so in the future. Personally, this change just makes the decision about their branded cards easier. When they're up for renewal, they'll be canceled or at least downgraded, and we'll begin singularly focusing on American Airlines as both our domestic airline of choice, as well as the airline card that we use for maximizing miles through credit card spend. On behalf of Stephanie and I, we hope this information has been helpful. If you have any questions or feedback, please just share them in the comments below. And you know how YouTube works. A like lets us know that you watched the video. A follow really costs you nothing but means a lot to us. And a subscribe just lets us know that what we're doing is something that you really find value in. Have great travel adventures, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.